If you're trying to create a consistent look and feel to your Instagram feed, or what some people call a theme, then this might just be the solution for you. Keep on watching because I'm going to show you how to create your own Lightroom Mobile preset. Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Katie Steckly, and here I love to talk all things Instagram, YouTube, filmmaking, and freelance. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. I try to post on my channel 2 times a week, and I wouldn't want you to miss it. Lightroom Mobile is an awesome option for editing your pictures because you can get it for free. So go ahead and download it onto your phone, and when you open it up, you can add photos from your camera roll into your Lightroom library to edit them. Once you've selected your image, it's going to immediately open up the editor. I'm going to take you through the options that you'll see in the menu along the bottom so that you know how to edit your photos, and once all of those edits have been made, I'll show you how to turn them into a preset. Alright, let's open up my Lightroom Mobile app and I'll show you how it's done. So I'm just going to start by importing some images from my camera roll. Today I'm going to use a picture of me in front of a really colorful mural because I think that it will be a good demonstration of how the colors and lighting can be changed. So I'll just grab this picture here that I had Emily take of me a couple weeks ago. As you can see along the bottom, we've got a lot of different options. Today we're just going to focus on light and color, because those are the main things that you're going to want to change when you create a preset. Normally my process would include changing options in light and color and then finally cropping the image to fit for Instagram. So let's start with light. You're going to click on the little sun button at the bottom and it's going to bring up a bunch of different options: exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks. So let's go through them all and I'll show you what they change. I like to start with exposure. If you feel like your image was a little too dark or a little too bright, or if you're just trying to go for a particular look with your Instagram feed, this will change the overall brightness of your image. Generally, I like to up the exposure just a little bit, but that's my personal preference. All of these things are going to be dependent on how you like your photos to look. Contrast, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. Honestly, I usually bring down the contrast just slightly because I find that iPhone photos are really contrasty. Normally, I'll bring down the highlights and bring up the shadows a little bit because I want a bit more of a flat look. Like I said, not as much contrast. If you're not familiar, highlights are the parts of the image that are the most bright, and shadows, pretty self-explanatory, are the darkest parts of the image. Changing the meters on whites and blacks has a similar impact. You can also edit these things using the curves feature. I don't tend to do this, but it's a matter of preference. Once you're happy with the changes you've made in the light section, go over to color, and I like to start by actually going to the mix button in the top right hand corner because this is going to give you some more options in terms of editing specific hues. As you can see, you can pick from all the different colors of the rainbow and shift exactly what that color looks like. Sometimes I like to do a kind of teal and orange sort of color look, and so to do that I would go to blue and I would take the hue shifter and take it over towards teal. You can really see how that changes. If I bring it all the way to blue, it looks a little bit more purple on the other side. I'm just going to go through the different colors and show you how changing the hue can make a really big impact. When you buy other people's presets, this is normally what you're paying for, is how it shifts color. So play around with it and you can make your own. If you see when I change the red shifter, how much those pots in the background change. Orange you need to be careful with because if you look at my skin tone here, you can see how I go from like sunburnt to alien kind of. So I would recommend orange, keeping it close to the middle. If I move yellow around, you can see how that impacts some of the green yellowish hues in the mural. Green definitely has a big impact. A lot of people on Instagram desaturate the green in their images. I'll talk a little bit more about the saturation side in a second. And of course you can see how changing the purple slider also changes the colors a lot. I wanted to demonstrate just how much you can change the look of an image by changing around where each hue specifically lands on that spectrum. For each of your colors, you can also change the saturation. So like I mentioned, sometimes people like to desaturate the greens to keep a consistent look throughout like the seasons, for instance. So if I go over to my green section and I bring the saturation right down, you can see how there's almost no green in the background anymore. It's like a grayscale kind of. If I bring it all the way up, you can see it becomes like neon. Luminance is how bright or dark that specific color is. So you can see I can make the greens really dark or I can make them almost white. Once you've made the changes that you're happy with under the mix panel, then I would suggest popping back out to the more broad changes like temperature, tint, vibrance, and saturation. I like a warmer toned image, so sometimes I bring the temperature up just a little bit. I feel like it makes it feel more inviting and summery. But again, totally a preference thing. Tint I tend to keep pretty much right on 0, if maybe +1 or -1, just because it's going to affect the skin tones a lot. You normally will only change tint if you're going for a very specific stylized look, or if the white balance and tint in the image originally is off and you're correcting it. Finally, you can change your vibrance to, make things more vibrant, and same thing with saturation. Though, in general, I would warn against going too crazy on either of these because it's going to look really unnatural. Alright, all our changes are made in the light and color panels. Now it's time to actually make this into a preset that we can reuse. What you're going to do is tap the ... icon in the top right-hand corner and then press Create Preset. You can name it anything that you want. Add it to a folder. I have one that's called Katie's. And I would suggest leaving everything that is highlighted automatically. The light, color, effects, detail, and profile color boxes, just leave them checked. That's pretty much what you want included in your preset. Then you just press the check mark button and it's been added to your preset folder. So let's say we want to use this preset. I'm going to import a photo that's from that same set so that you can see how it basically duplicates the exact same look that you're going for and how it can create a consistent Instagram feed. Once you open up your image to edit it, you're going to scroll all the way over to the presets button, and then you can navigate to your folder and select the preset that you want to use. And there you go. It automatically edits it to look like your other images. This can be super useful for keeping a consistent theme on Instagram, though I will say a preset does not a theme make. You have a preset to try to keep things consistent, but each image is not going to be consistent just by the nature of life and photography. So you're going to have to make some small tweaks each time to keep consistency across images. If I apply that preset to another picture I took on a totally different occasion, they're not necessarily going to look anything alike. But if you know that you have certain priorities about how your images should look, whether that's something like desaturated greens or light and bright or dark and moody, whatever theme you're going for, if you have that in mind when you edit each image, a preset is going to help you get half of the way there, and then the fine tuning will do the rest of the work. I hope you found this video useful, and I hope you're excited to go out there and create a consistent Instagram feed. At the end of the day, as long as you're creating content that you are passionate about, it's going to help you connect with an audience. So don't stress too much about the theme. If you're interested in learning more about how to create engagement on Instagram, check out this video. I think you would find it helpful. But before you go watch that one, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. Like I said, I post twice a week, and I wouldn't want you to miss any of them. As always, I hope that you are having adventures and following your dreams, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!